Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today I'll be reviewing a game that I played against my 1Q student, and this game actually is pretty exciting. It's not, what you might expect from a 1Q versus a 5 Dan. So before the game starts, I do want to give props to my student because he played very well this game, and played a lot of very good moves. So props to you. Yeah, let's get into it. We get a pretty unorthodox opening. Black defends, and then I just back off. Kind of my thinking here was, of course, one, teaching game. Let's, give my student new openings, new ideas, prepare him for things he might not have seen before. But also, I got rid of black Shamari, and then took my own. So I'm the only one with a 3/4 Shamari. So that was also my idea. And black plays what looks like the beginning of the Taisha. And the interesting thing about this move is I've seen in AI suggestions, and I'm not sure if it's just Leela, but I saw this from a Leela game tree, basically. And it's a move I played in the game of P2. Yeah, I've never seen it. I don't think it's Joseki, but Leela Zero, or at least, Leela Zero recommended it, or thought about it at least, and I just thought it was really cool. The idea being, if black, obviously white's looking at N3, if black defends N3, when white plays here, notice the beginning of the Taisha starts after this attachment, black wedges, and this is kind of the start of the Taisha. Very complicated Joseki. But by going here first, and then, black backs off, when white plays this, black's unable to now wedge. Because after black connects, when white connects, you can see white P2 is in the perfect spot. So it's kind of preventing the Taisha. It's preventing being cut off. And even after this, this is a very Honte move, or the move to play. You can see white's shape is pretty flexible here. Maybe white can come back and do this. There's many options for white here. And again, because this is an AI move, there's a lot of theory on if, what's good and what's not, because it's like, okay, it might be good for an AI, but for humans, maybe not. But these continuations are just based on, I guess, my human knowledge. So yeah, it seems pretty good. And black plays a very sensible move in the game and plays here. I really like this move. I get the move I wanted, but then black just extends back. So I think black's doing just fine here. A potentially even better move is to directly play here. The idea being, if white plays the same move white did, black gets later this huge follow-up in the corner. Reduces white down to almost one eye, and black has very good shape. White can prevent this by playing this exchange first. Can prevent this by playing this exchange first. The idea being, if black tries to capture the stone, he can't. He just can't capture the stone. But if black just connects and then comes back, you see later, black can at least still Atari this way, even capture. Many different things here. Again, I've never seen this move. I've never seen pros play it. I've never seen any reviews on it. So again, this is all based on my own amateur knowledge, I guess. Yeah, pretty interesting move though. And I love experimenting with AI moves. So this is the first time I've had the chance to play against the Taisha, so of course I'm gonna take it. There, and then I play there, and then black just backs off. But again, I think this is very reasonable for black. Then I approach, and then back off. This game was a few weeks ago, and I don't specifically remember why I chose such a tight pincer, or a tight extension. Just a normal move would be just to play here, or even, kind of leave some Aji at N17, but treat this stone at P17 lightly. That's kind of the idea. But I'm not sure why I chose this. I don't think it's that good. This move is only used in very specific situations, and this is not one of them. So Yeah, I think I should just play something normal on the top or come back to the left side, whether I play this sort of variation in the bottom left or even play some sort of move to take the left side. Might be a little old-fashioned, but with the Shamari in the upper left, I don't think it's bad. Play this very tight extension though. Again, can't really remember why, but I don't think it's good. And black attaches, a very nice move. Very nice move. The idea basically is trying to get forcing moves and limit white to the corner. If white ends up getting those points in the upper left, black doesn't mind if white adds more stones for the same amount of points. So very simply, let's say we didn't do this, but let's say we play a very simple variation where white connects. You can see white's territorial gain hasn't gone up much. It really hasn't. It's compared this with this. Sure, it's solid, but the points themselves hasn't really gained much. But what has black gained? Black now has a stronger, thicker shape here. Like even at this point, if this sort of thing happened, black could just come back and treat these stones lightly. And if black had another move on the upper side, or on the upper left, black can still play this sort of attachment as well. So the idea of these kind of Shamari corner attachments is just, if your opponent's going to get those points anyways, just make them add more stones for the same amount of points. So that's why I really like this attachment actually. So I cut, of course, and then extend up. This is just Joseki at this point. The other variation white could play is a very big co-variation like this. Atari and then play here. Of course, at this point, there's probably no co-threats big enough. The only one I really see is here, but maybe this is actually playable for white, but it'd be a co-variation, and really early on like this is not really any co-threats. So, but now that I'm looking at this variation isn't too bad actually for white. If black does answer this, it gives white more co-threats, and after white takes, I'm not sure where black's co-threat is after this. Maybe this, but when white wins the co, you can see white's shape is much better, right? But again, maybe this is possible. I'm not sure. I chose this one though. I'm more familiar, and I know this one more. Black cuts, that's correct. And then black extends. So here, the proper move is just to extend up. The idea of this move is you're threatening to capture e16. So white needs to do something about this. Usually white Ataris first. And after the Atari, black has different options here. Black can either just Hane on this side, and either white just swallows the stone completely, and there's no Aji, or white tries to get a little bit more, but of course leaving this Aji here. But here, I kind of like this for white, actually. These stones here are facing white's stones in the upper right. And while black can still invade, it feels pretty good for white, actually. I wouldn't mind this as white. Black does get these thick center stones that have actually immense strength in the center. They might not look like a lot, but they actually do quite a bit. Later, black can get an extension down. Directly, black can maybe kick and then pincer these stones and kind of use these stones from afar. The other variation black can play is extending once here. White has to fill, and then black comes down, and then turns. And when white jumps, black then extends. And this is much more aggressive, of course, because now, instead of just sacrificing, you now have two weak groups. Or not two weak groups, but two groups to handle. I guess I would still kind of like this for white, I think. White would be able to settle these stones here. Black would get some points on the upper side, but white connecting here will actually be quite powerful. Yeah, so in the game, though, what does he do? He doesn't extend, I think. Yeah, he just extends back like this, which is not Joseki. So I just Atari and then he extend. This Atari directly though at E18 is not so good. And the reason why is it's only going after the 2 stone or the 1 stones. What I should do is ask Black, do you really want these 2 stones? Because if Black doesn't, then I won't play E17, or I won't capture E17. I would just capture the 2 stones. So what I should do first is definitely Atari once. Atari one more time. Even though I'm in Atari, you can see if Black captures, this is a ladder. So Black has to extend again. Now I connect. And now, if Black were to play this, notice I'm not playing E18 because I'm directly threatening these 4 black stones. Right? As Black can do this, get more liberties, and force me to come back, but obviously this would just be too much for Black. So this stone here is a move I would play anyways. If Black extended, I wouldn't spend the next move to play at E18. So you can see I actually lost tempo here. This move is just too slow. Because after this, I just extended up. And now it gave Black 2 moves on the upper side. Whereas if I play this move, I wouldn't spend another move to play at E18. That would just be foolish. So yeah, this move is definitely much better than my move at E18. Much, much better. So a big mistake for me. I should have forced Black, if Black wanted to play or to save these 2 stones. Right here. So now Black got the base on the top, gave up a pretty large corner, but Black can now attack the 2 stones here. So the question is how to attack these 2 stones. So M17 looks like a good spot to get, right? Aims at the weak spot, gives a base for yourself, and yeah, it looks pretty good to me. You could also think about this sort of move as well, kind of lean against white. This would probably maybe not be so good though. It's going to give access, it's going to give white access to the right side, but if you play from the right side, I think white would be pretty confident in a fight that breaks out in the center here. Because again, you're not alive on the top. So I think playing from the bottom would be much better. Because again, you're just settling and you're not forcing white into your right side. In the game though, Black attaches, which is the same idea. In the game, I should just attach or extend and then attach here. Gotta keep my shape light. In the game, though, play another very bad move, actually. I play this move. So I spend a move to capture at E18. I spend another move to solidify at G14. And now I try to spend another move and say, Black, are you really going to let me capture these 2 stones? But of course, Black is. If Black just connects, Black gives me exactly what I wanted, which is this sort of shape, which looks kind of strange, but flattens Black down, and white takes immense strength in the center. But of course, once I've spent all these moves to capture these stones lose value. So of course, Black ignores and plays a move on the right side. And the move Black played in the game was probably Black's first mistake, honestly. Black should just play here. Notice this move goes after the whole group. In the game, Black Khanate here. And Atari, and I extended. And you can see it's going to give me forcing moves of N18. It's created cuts now. And this is because Black went after just the 1 stone. If Black goes after the whole group, you can see if white tries the same sort of move, Black would just Atari and extend. Keep attacking the whole group. But by cutting here, or by cutting on the inside, Black has now made it so Black has more things to worry about. So in the game, I Atari and then attach. This is an asking move. This is a very common, whenever you have this shape in the upper right, R16, Q15, the white stone, the Shusaku diagonal. And after black has cut you off, or your opponent has cut you off, this attachment and then double wane is a very good asking move. In this game, there's actually a very crazy, or pretty crazy sequence that can occur in this scenario. I also forgot to mention, this move is not, this is sort of shaped, this diagonal is not strong. You either want to take away a liberty here, or take away a liberty here. But this one is definitely much better. This move is better than P16, but at least P16 is better than this move. This move doesn't take away any liberties. It gives white forcing moves on either side. So I'm not sure why black chose this move. And just look at black's shape, right? We have a double diagonal, and it's just kind of clunky. Atari, attach, play here. So in the game, black just gave up the corner, and I got this cut and was able to live. The question is, can black play here? Can black play here? Atari, and then play here. So at this point, white needs to play what looks like a pretty interesting move. Because now white has created, what black needs to play here. White has created some agi. So what white can do is actually attach here. And the question is, what is that doing? That move looks meaningless. How does that affect this side? Well, if black just answers, normally, white will descend. Black has to Atari. This is an Atari. 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 Again, look at black's shape because he has all these diagonals. And then Atari. And this ladder, and I checked this, goes to this white stone here. So these stones would be captured. So if this did happen, black would probably have to either give up this side and just, play from here. Again, maybe not game ending, but white does just save the group that black just, captured. So, and white's attachment here at e4 actually didn't lose white that much. So basically white was able to save this group for free. And the purpose, you might be wondering, why do you sacrifice an extra stone here at t18? The reason is, if you don't, and you just cut directly, black is completely alive in the upper right. But by extending once, and black has to come down, notice, let's say we play a variation, like let's say we try here first and black goes here. Notice, black has to spend another move to live now, right? Black has to make this sort of exchange. If you did not give up an extra stone, we do the same exact variation, you can see black's already alive in the corner, so black can then continue to put pressure on white. So it's actually a very big move to extend down there. Of course, after this, it can get pretty complicated with this sort of move. Yeah, this sort of thing could happen and cut, and it's very complicated. But that's why before you play all these moves, you play this attachment first. And let's say black maybe did see that and maybe protect somehow, maybe like this. White cutting through is very big. It's very big. So pretty interesting scenario, actually. Yeah, pretty interesting. And it's because black played this P15 move that did not help his shape or his liberties. So, but black just plays here, which again feels nice because you do capture the 3 stones, but it's actually gote, because if black ignores, white can Atari here. And if black connects, Atari, connect, and Atari, and capture. So that'd be way too big. And once again, black plays a very suboptimal move of playing here. Now, this move isn't completely horrible, because if white tries to make this endgame move, which is, just an endgame move, white's unable to play at p18. But this is endgame. Black needs to be thinking about middle game, needs to be thinking about the fighting. So I definitely think a move out here is worth much more on reducing the liberties from the N16 stones, so putting pressure on them. It helps the right side. And sure, maybe later white gets this move, but this is not nearly as bad, or doesn't affect the game as much as this stone at O15 does. So pros and cons here, but I think this move is better. I think this move is better. So I don't exchange that. Where do I play? I think I play this move like that. And then black pincer, yeah. And again, I'm using kind of, I don't want to invade too deeply, so I play on a sector line, but I also am playing on the same line as N15. And stones on the same line have very good communication, very good strength. So that's why I played it. Black pincered on the bottom, so I kick. Black hanes, ataris, and place here. I don't actually know what the point of this move is. Of course, it's threatening Ko, so there's that for sure. But it just seems like black could just leave it now. Like after black went here, I pushed up and broke through like this. Why wouldn't black want to play maybe something like this? And if I extend here, maybe then come back and pressure like this. But instead, black kind of played dame. Like this isn't a... Like if I just Atari, like black hasn't really gained anything here. So I'm not really sure what the purpose of this move was, besides threatening the Ko, of course. Extend up. So black is putting pressure on these, you know, getting some thickness, but now this stone here has to pay. Yeah, I'm not sure what the point of P3 was. And it still threatens a Ko, but I figured this Ko is too heavy for black. Black loses too much, and even let's say, you know, I have to, you know, let black get something. I can live anytime at S5, so black really is only capturing the stones here, not capturing the corner. So that's why I figured the Ko black couldn't really play right now. Black couldn't really play right now. I think black play here next. He did. He pincered the left side or played on the last biggest side of the board, but I'm like, okay, you're gonna take my left side, I'll take your right side. And black ignored again. So I think black is doing a good job not following white around. But again, I'm just like, okay, I'll keep taking my right side, or taking away from your right side. Black extends down, and then I play this very important one space pincer or extension. Gives me a little base, but also puts pressure on the black stone. If I did anything else, this move here really helps the stone at C10. Can't really attack it anymore now that black can connect anytime at B6 or make an extension. So I got rid of that, and now I can put pressure on the black stones. So he jumps, and then I cover here. Reason of this cover is black could have played this move into this peep, which now he's actually just connected. And even if he does just answer back, you can see there's actually a lot of points on the bottom. So I wanted to prevent this peep here. I played there. Maybe there was a bigger move, but I felt it was pretty big. Black exchanges that now. So he's actually lost the Aji of the Ko, but I guess that's fine. And then he caps. Yeah, cap's a powerful move. Very powerful move. Feels a little late though. Especially after white pushed black down on the right side, because now white has like peeps here that white can do, which will help white make a base. Or the move I play in the game, which is play this move, kind of ask if I can connect. And then black actually sharply plays right at the shape point. And like during this game, I'm like, wow, my student is playing very sharp. He's not making this game easy, and that's good. That's good. So I bump. Gotta protect my shape somehow. I couldn't really see a more efficient way to do it. If black's in the game, black peep, but if black came up, you can see it would give me perfect shape. Yeah, I couldn't really think of any other move. In the game, black peeped. Again, very sharp move. He's not answering me, which that's what you want. I answer, and then he jumps. Yeah, very light. Not treating stones that have served its purpose lightly, and that's good. I come down though. Yeah, this move here is very big, right? This takes out white's base from the inside, or from the bottom, and forces white to have to live outside. But black takes here. This move actually does have an effect on these 2 stones, so black is actually attacking these stones from afar. But I was treating those stones on the left lightly. And black just covers. It seems pretty big, but like black should really think about trying to do something about these stones here. Because me pushing through actually isn't even sente. Like if I played there right now, black could just keep surrounding the left side, which is obviously bigger. Since black played 03, black will always have this eye here, so I actually don't see a way for white to kill the bottom right. And of course, black swallowing the lower left is very efficient, right? He's spending 6 moves to capture those 2 stones, which is very big. So black was doing a good job answering white, but if he had a very big opportunity here, and even if I just answer once, like even if I just answer once somehow, just play very safe, calmly here, maybe something like this would happen, and then comes back. You can see black already got the moves here, but by going here, I had the chance, if I wanted to lean here. And you can see this is kind of the point where both players want, because both sides aren't 100% alive, so the person to get the first move there would have a very advantageous position. In the game, though, I think, what did I do? Did I go there? I did, and then black peep. Yeah, this is wrong thinking. You want to take out the base when you're surrounded, not when white still has a clear avenue into the center. Because after this, how many points has black gained? Maybe a few, maybe 4 or 5. But when white jumps out and gets the first move in the center, white controls the center. By playing out in the center first, it has much bigger effect on the whole board. And sure, maybe white plays this, and maybe this is sente. You can see this stone, or playing from the outside, is affecting the whole board. And let's say white has to live very small, what have you. White just takes, 5 points, 4 or 5 points, and black takes a very strong outside. But instead, black chose to take second line territory. So this is not attacking. You want to surround first, and then take out the base. This is wrong thinking. Because what if black wanted to peep directly? If white answered, then black can surround like this. This would be pretty nice. But after this, black loses that Aji. And now if black tries now to surround, because black has made this shape stronger, white's able to come out faster. So this move actually loses a lot. Jump out, and then black jumps out. But you can see white has very nice shape here, and it's because black took the second line territory, which was worth a couple points. So wrong thinking here. And black does get a good follow-ups here, but I peep and then I connect. See, black lost tempo here. And it doesn't seem like a big difference, but it is when you get stronger, this sort of like loss of tempo, being 1 move behind in an attack, can mean the whole game. It can mean the whole game. Black Ataris, and then covers, right. If black wanted to save these, it would allow white to come back and capture these. But there's no reason to make this Atari if you weren't going to save these. So black should just connect. Like this. No point in Ataring first and then saving those 3 stones. Doesn't make sense. And then black plays here. I probably could have played this more aggressively. Like just push and cut like this. But again, this will probably be fine for white, but these 3 stones are getting, or 4 stones are getting a little isolated. So I just simply covered, captured the 3 stones, and you can see once I capture these 3 stones, I would never play at E18. So this is why, going back all the way to the beginning, E18 is a slow move. It's a very slow move. And then black plays out, pretty big move. Now that all the groups are settled, basically, we're just going into a early end game. Cut, that move is huge as well. I think this move has to be bigger, right? This move is just ginormous. Sure, it's Gote, but white capturing gives white a second follow-up. as well. But black ignores. And again, I think, you know, what's ignoring the best move? Well, it's Sente. This move is Sente, but at least he is ignoring. And that is, you know, the start to getting better. You need to learn how to ignore. So yeah, plays there, the plays here. This isn't so good. This is like right up against white's wall. Like you're right up against white's thickness. Your stones don't have that many liberties, so you don't want to play directly up against them. Like black should just connect here. Just connect and be happy. This is also a very big move. Even if white cuts, you Atari like this. And you leave it now. You leave it now. You're prevented. I later get K2, which then let me monkey jump. But by playing this way, later if white gets this cut, because you've Atari'd at L1, you can see white's unable to play H1 now because of this stone at L1. So it's actually a very big endgame in Sente, even if you don't connect here at J2. Getting this Atarian is very big. So this Hane first, and then Atari is very big. Yeah, this move, this just doesn't do much for black. You're just playing right up against white's wall. And he plays there. I Atari and attach. I wanted to protect somehow, so I was just trying to do it as efficiently as possible. Black's unable to cut. So always think about efficiency. Just connecting, somehow, doesn't matter if you do tiger's mouth. It doesn't really prompt a black response, but by attaching, again, if black's going to get this area anyways, I may as well try to make him take it in Gote. So I think the attachment's good. He comes back. Yeah, that's a good move. That's a very good move, but I can cut there. And when I Atari, you can see I'm actually threatening to take out all the points on the right side. He backs off. I Hane though. Yeah, I think there's not that many points there for black to get. So I don't think that move's as big as black thinks. Yeah, I think this move's very big, but two, just preventing white from connecting here is also big. But it's hard to say now. I just this move in and of itself, you can see, does it surround any points? No, all it's doing is kind of cutting off two alive white groups. There's no points to be gained in this area, so I just connect. Black does get this peep, but I've just taken out all the points in the bottom right. And whenever you can kind of not only take the corner, but wrap around on the sides like I have here and here, it's a lot of points. You really want to try to get these kind of wraparounds like this. He jumps, and I connect those two stones. This move is humongous. Playing there, captures those two stones for big profit. Where did black play? He Atari'd, and where did he go? Here? I didn't see. Where did he go? 1 second. Let me turn on, show the next move. He jumped here. Yeah, again, strange spot. Plays there. Peep. But I've already reduced black. So I just ignore. And then black connects. And then I ended up capturing those two stones anyways. Or putting a lot of pressure on those two stones. So yeah, all the way back here, I'm not sure why black decided to play here. He plays a dive, big move, but I just capture those two stones. He plays up and then turns. So he does reduce me a little bit, but I get to capture those two stones. So it's pretty big. And now we just get into some endgame. So not really too much else to talk about, but you can see black hung in there. Black really did. There's one major thing to discuss right at the end of the game. But yeah, black played very well here. Black's shape was pretty good. Black was ignoring white. Yeah, not much else to say. Just the little things that add up. Here's one thing. Is black played here and then just gave up the 3 stones. But black needs to, if black is going to save these stones, black needs to be able to see that in his reading. And it's just, I don't think there's anything white can do. Cut. Because these stones can be captured at any time. Right? So even if white connects, black just captured and black's just alive everywhere. But it's like black didn't, it's almost like black didn't read one move ahead. Or at least didn't read that sequence. Because otherwise, of course, this sort of move, even just a clamp is better. But instead, black played here, forced me to take good shape, and then let me capture 3 stones as opposed to 2 stones. So thank you, black. That wasn't the last bit I wanted to talk about either. That was just a little minor thing. Yeah, just end game. Let's get to the point in the game. Sure, Atari there. Push up. Throw in here. Throw in as opposed to just Atarying. You can see black just connects. But by throwing in first, you can see later when I Atari, black's unable to directly connect because I can cut. So by throwing in, I actually made him take away his own liberty. So that's the idea behind this move. Descend. Descend's also good because I'm threatening A4. If I just Hane, black just fills, and the best I can do is A5. But now when I descend, if black still protects on the left side, or on the left side, I can then attach here for a big endgame. But if black plays down, which he did, instead of Haneing, I can attach. And notice black's unable to cut at A7. So he has to connect. Atari, play there, push through. Yeah, just endgame here. Let me get to the position I want to get to. You can start to see the upper side. You see some shape issues for black. Play that as move, fill in, ignore, sure. And then Atari. So the question is, did black make a mistake? Is there something here for white? And the answer is, so in the game, black played this move. Oops. Played this move. If I wanted to, I could actually extend out this way, and this would cause a bunch of problems for black. So the proper move here for black, because black's offering a ko here, but black can just attach on this side. And now after this, there's no issues. But instead, black played here, and if I wanted to, I could have gone here. Because again, black's unable to play this. Black can't connect because Atari capture. So one, black should have gone here. This is definitely the key move. But he played here, I just connected. If I was mean, I could have done that, but I just decided to take the end game. He was a little perturbed by this move because he thought there was nothing there, and when I played there, he kind of got scared. So I didn't want to, upset him any more than I already did. So the question is there anything there? Because it looks, at surface value, if I just try to capture, black can connect here. And while it's close, it's very close, but I can only make one eye because black will then be able to take out the last eye. The question is there anything there? And there is actually. So after this move, I can connect. Now you can see black only has 3 liberties, so black has to be very careful. But black can play, if black plays anything like this, well, let's talk about this. If black Atari's here thinking, okay, if white connects, I will then be able to capture like this. And it would be a semi-eye-ish, but it'd be an eye versus no eye, and black would just win this, like this. But white can actually Atari this way, give up the 1 stone, and then capture the whole group. So that wouldn't be good. The best move for black to play is some sort of, I don't know how to say this, some sort of move like this. And you can see if white tries to push through, there's just nothing here. Just nothing works. But there is a special move white can play after this move. And it's O19. Point of O19 is 1, it's threatening to connect at Q19. So black prevents that, then black can push through, and make this a ko. And this is a very good example of a flower ko, because if white loses it, white, I guess white lost a point at Q19, but besides that, white really doesn't lose anything. So let's say white makes a ko threat. If black loses this ko, though, black loses the entire top in it's like a 30 to 40 point swing, probably more. So this wouldn't be so good. Yeah. And if black plays here, it'd be very similar. White would hane first. Black hanes, and then white plays here. So nothing black can really do after white connects here. So black, he told me he wasn't sure, so he just played this out of frustration, but there was actually something there. So that only worked once I Atari'd here, by the way, or connected here. Took away this last liberty. But besides that, we just go into endgame. And yeah, actually there's one more tiny thing is I played these ko threats here in the bottom that really messed up black. So this move is a ko threat because if black, we're playing a half point ko in the upper left. Sorry, I kind of went through that fast. This after black connects, this move, you can see black's unable to fill, right? So this is a ko threat because it's threatening more than half a point. So black does answer. This is a strange way to answer it though. Black should just play here, I think. This gives white many more ko threats. So I take ko threat, sure, he takes, and then play there. Again, threatening this cut at D3. Play there, fill, and then takes a ko threat. And then I play at A2, threatening seki if black ignores, or at least another ko. And then black played here. So this is the mistake, because what this does is it allows me to make an I at A1. And while black does just win this, it's pretty hard for white to win this ko. Black has to spend, or it's not even a ko. Figured I just couldn't win this ko, but even black having to fill in, I force black to have to play in his own area while I just take dame at B5 and A5. So the best way for black to play is keep it at one I versus no I. And of course, this move is the key move as well. So black should go here. Notice white's unable to save because black can Atari. So just a minor thing there, but black did end up losing quite a few points as well. Yeah, I could have done this. Could have kept fighting this ko, but didn't seem like it was worth it. Because I would have to ignore, what's that, 2 threats? Which is not worth it. So I just filled on the outside, and I did end up just winning the upper left ko too. Atari, and then fill in. I have to fill in here eventually, because if this liberty goes, Atari, and then capture the stone. So I had to fill in that liberty anyways, or fill in that point anyways. And yeah, I believe pass. It's a 12-point win for white, which again, if you consider the rank disparity, and if you've seen our other games, you know that most of the games aren't that close. But this game was pretty close. And again, I think in the opening, black made less mistakes than white did. I was definitely making a ton of mistakes in the upper left. And even in the upper right, I played a very questionable move. So yeah, very good game from black. I think it's a 12-point loss. Yeah, pretty interesting game too. Lots of good things to take from this, as well as lots of nice shapes and good decision making. Again, sente is so important, and that's one thing you can learn from this game, is how important sente is. But yeah, that's it for this game. If you have any questions about this game, please let me know in the comments. I try to read all the comments. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.